Welcome to the Style Sports Hub, presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics.
Hey everybody, welcome to the SportsHub Podcast, presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics, Plaza Lincoln, and Plaza Cadillac. I'm your host, Kyle Coppola. Today we are on with the director of Lake County Schools, the athletic director of Lake County Schools, Pat Todd. I want to thank you for coming on, Pat.
Well, appreciate you having me. Appreciate the invitation, and certainly, as we talked about before, what you guys are doing for Lake County kids and athletics in general is fantastic, and we really appreciate your presence in our communities.
Yeah, we enjoy providing it. We have so many cool things going on this season in 2025 coming up. We got new coaches. We got some exciting players that we're going to be seeing upcoming this season. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on in 2025 and what we can look forward to?
Well, I think in 24, we really kind of set the mindset in Lake County of really trying to talk about developing champions of character amongst our athletic programs. And so we really want to be about building programs and not just fielding teams. And I thought we did a great job of laying that mission and that mindset out there. And now we're trying to be more intentional about what does that really look like on each of our high school campuses, each of our middle school campuses, and specifically, how are we empowering coaches to change the lives of student athletes within the platform of their athletic teams. And so those are big goals, but they're goals that I think we've got to make inroads to accomplish if we really want to produce the type of young man and young woman that can compete not only athletically, but more importantly academically in their college careers, and hopefully become the next leaders of our communities. So we're excited about the opportunity. It's challenging, but we've got some good people out there to help us fulfill that, and we're excited about it.
Yeah, and not only the coaches, but the players this season. We've had a couple of players in here already this season, and they're so excited to get things going. We had Eustis High School in here just a few weeks ago, talking with Coach Harrison, and just what they have going on over at Eustis. And then we got Leesburg, Eastridge, just so many schools that are just looking forward to this season. I mean, South Lake is supposed to have a pretty good football team this season. I mean, how exciting is that to have South Lake football back, Coach? It is. And Brad's done a great job over there. I tell you what's nice to see is they're winning football, playing disciplined football, and they had a great year last year. I think they snuck up on some people. Yeah. They're no longer going to sneak up on anybody, so they've got a competitive schedule. But they're deep in their depth chart. Had a chance to talk to Coach last week, and he's really excited about the opportunities. They're challenging opportunities for them, but if they navigate the early part of their schedule well, they'll put themselves in a really good position. Yeah, they're just coming off of a 17-0 victory as well in the preseason, so they're getting set for their season. Talking about a couple of other players, we also have one of the top defensive ends in the country playing for Tavares High School, Isaiah Williams. He's been really exciting to watch the last couple of years.
He really is. He's got a chance to be really special, I think, at the next level. Unfortunately, he's got some injury issues going on right now, but he's definitely a talented athlete. I think he's passionate about playing the game at a high level, and Coach Jones has really been super high on his work ethic and things that are going in that direction. So we're encouraged by that. You know, it's interesting when you look across our county, only 8 high schools, but we've got a number of Division I prospects playing football on our campuses. That's exciting, but I think if you get past that Division I level, we've got a ton of Division II and NAIA caliber student athletes out there, and that's really exciting to be able to put them in a position that they can be recruited. And we're in a world where you get an extra year of eligibility for almost anything you want at the collegiate level. And if you go junior college and sign Division I, you get a year back. We have the transfer portal now, which seems to be the number one area to recruit. And so it's never been harder to put kids in on college rosters than it is right now, but we've got some talented kids, and finding ways to market those kids is really important.
You mentioned the transfer portal as well. I thought it was interesting you brought that up, because in a way you also have that here in high school with the kids being able to kind of transition schools, school choice in Florida. What's that kind of been like the last couple of years? Because we've talked about it kind of year after year. It's kind of changing every single year. Where do you see that going?
Well, I think that, beauty's in the eyes of the beholder, so to speak. I don't think it's good for high school sports. I don't think it's good for coaches. I don't think it's good for student athletes. There's a lot of challenges that go with transferring, and I don't know that we're transferring for all the right reasons.
Right.
But the reality of it is that kids are able to move from school to school as schools have open enrollment opportunities available to them. And what that often breeds is encouragement outside of their families to look at something different. And so we want to be intentional about being ethically above board on our coaching staffs. And sometimes that means our relationships with travel ball coaches and 7-on-7 coaches, which often becomes a breeding ground for recruitment, to be honest with you. You couple that with the idea that parents are looking for the best opportunities for their kids. And so I think the marching orders for us is to try to create the best opportunities on our 8 campuses in Lake County. Mm-hmm. And with the idea that if you grow up in Leesburg or you grow up in Eustis or South Lake or East Ridge, that's the school you want to play for because they offer you the best opportunities both academically and athletically. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely a challenging time, I think, for high school athletics. I think that 6 years ago I was a head college coach, and recruiting had changed so much at the collegiate level, and we're seeing that trickle down. For example, when I was an assistant at Georgia State some almost 30 years ago, we were trying to recruit 2 or 3 years ahead of time because the transfer rules were such that if you transfer, you sat out a year, and most kids didn't really want to do that. So you could really set up your recruiting classes accordingly. My last couple of years as a college head coach, we were re-recruiting our own roster during the year because you never knew until the last minute who might transfer because of the transfer portal. Wow. So now you throw the portal in there, you throw the JUCO year coming back, and then you throw the COVID exemptions in there, which were in the last year of that for some kids. The high school kid becomes the last kid to recruit. Well, what we're seeing now is that trickle down to the high school level, and I thought it was interesting that several media outlets have started to list the number of transfers that each school is getting in, and now we have actually reports talking about, well, who's the highest rated transfer for this high school or that high school. And when you look at high major recruits and they're in their third high school in 3 years, for me as a former college coach and as an administrator, I'm thinking, well, we're running from something. I don't think we're running to something sometimes, and I don't know that that's always in the best interest of our kids.
When you see that too, as a college coach, when you see kids transferring, some kids even transfer like to 4 different high schools. Mm-hmm. Do you want a kid like that on your team, even though might be great?
I think the times are certainly adjusting, and in the end, college sports is a business, and I think people are now seeing it's a professional business at the Division I level. Yeah. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. When we have a payroll of several $1 million on our roster, we call that pro sports in most places. And so, unfortunately, people are recruiting talent first. The reality of it is that if that kid left 3 high schools, he's probably going to leave 2 or 3 colleges. Mm-hmm. And we're finding that. We're seeing that in spades, especially in the NIL era. I think people are not familiar with NIL at a level that makes sense. They think every school has tons of money. But at the Division I level, I promise you, Stetson's budget looks a lot different than the University of Florida's budget. And so it's different levels of play. But kids are going to move. They're going to move from college to college, and sometimes it's financial. Sometimes, hey, I got more money to go play at this school or that school. But then when you get down to the NEI level and the Division II level, you're really talking about kids taking those scholarships now in hopes that, hey, maybe I play well there, and maybe I get a Division I offer coming up next. And I've always tried to compartmentalize things in terms of how many of these Division I kids are going to play in the NBA. Well, I'm going to tell you, it'll be less than 30. And how many of these kids are going to play in the NFL? That number will be substantially smaller than how many Division I college football players do we have. So in the end, if we're not getting a degree out of this thing, at some point in time, I think that matrix doesn't look as good. And I think the data that you'll see coming back in the next 5 or 6 years will show that this probably isn't as beneficial to student athletes as we think. So, you get into the whole conversation about, well, schools are making millions of dollars. Don't the players get a portion of that? Mm-hmm. And I think that's a good conversation to have. I just don't think we have the methodology in place that makes that make sense. What we've really done is turn this into professional sports. I think what you're going to see is Power Force separating from everybody else.
Yeah.
You're going to see a salary cap come in next. And then you have this collective bargaining agreement out there. So we have X number of dollars in this pool, but how do we really attack NIL dollars, which is sometimes different? And so how does that work at the high school level? Well, we've approved NIL now, I think, in all 50 states. That's not as easy as it is at the college level. We're about 3 or 4 years behind where the colleges were because colleges couldn't police it then. And so right now we're at a point where if you have an NIL deal, you can't represent your high school. You can't wear a jersey from your high school or mention your high school. Schools can't be a part of that collective. So what's happening is we have people trying to find ways to get around that, and that's challenging. But not every kid out there is an NIL high school player.
Right.
And, if a kid's getting money to play at the high school level, you really got to start to question what's that business's benefit. And I'm not sure that there is a great benefit there. And I'm not opposed to kids getting compensated, but I am opposed to what we've done to amateurism and the spirit of the game.
Yeah.
So, when you think about it, is every kid on our high school rosters in Lake County going to be a college athlete? The answer is no. But every one of them can benefit from a phenomenal experience being a high school athlete that can prepare them for whatever their endeavors are, whether that's trade school, going to work right away, or having a great college experience. We want to be sure that we're meeting those needs in Lake County.
And we've got so many great stories. We're going to be talking about South Lake and what they were able to construct the last couple of weeks. They have a new batting cage down there, which is really exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And the Umatilla High School sending 31 Cambridge ACE students to get diplomas. So we'll talk a little bit more of that coming up next on the Sports Hub. We'll have more with Pat Todd next.
Is pain or restricted range of motion keeping you on the sidelines? Get back in the game with expert orthopedic care from UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics. UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics provides robotic-assisted surgical joint repairs and replacements, post-operative care, and inpatient rehabilitation services, all close to home, right here in Lake and Sumter counties. And for those unexpected injuries, UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics offers convenient walk-in and same-day appointments. To learn more or to schedule an appointment with one of their specialists, call 352-323-5665.
Hey, everybody. We are back here on the Sports Hub Podcast with Pat Todd, the Athletic Director of Lake County Schools. I want to thank you again for coming on, Pat.
Hey, my pleasure. Great to be here.
Well, we were talking before the break about South Lake High School and their brand new baseball facility, but their brand new batting cage that they have down there that the construction students were able to construct down there. Talk a little bit about that.
It's really been a phenomenal experience. The softball coach who also heads up the construction program on campus, he's done a phenomenal job. He's partnered with the baseball coach, and they have created a phenomenal facility for both softball and baseball. And if you ever have a chance to go out there and see it, which I know you have, it is really an attractive facility that serves those kids in such a great way. Both of the coaches there do a phenomenal job taking care of their ballparks. Then the district, in addition to that, there are tennis courts that needed to be refurbished for a long time. And so they're in the process of having those redone. They should be done fairly soon. And so that whole complex on the backside of that campus is really going to be attractive. And it gives our kids great facilities to play in. And, I've been a big believer that facilities make a difference. Coaches that use those facilities at the highest level really create great advantages for their kids.
Talking about facilities as well, I'm interested in this as well because Sumter County now all plays on artificial turf football fields. Lake County still plays on all natural grass, and me, myself, I love natural grass playing on it. I enjoy it a lot more than turf, but to each his own on what they enjoy playing on. I certainly think turf you play faster on. Natural grass is still prevalent in Lake County, whereas a lot of counties around, I think up north where I came from, most of them are turf fields now. Very rare that you get a natural grass field. But a lot of them down here are still natural grass. Are there any plans for turf fields in the future, or
Yeah, great question. And what you see at Sumter County is aesthetically, I think it looks really great. And it's something that some of our schools have a keen interest in. Obviously, there's a dollar figure that comes with that, and how you want to fund that, not only on the front end, but also on the daily maintenance end is really important. My experience is when you put a turf field in, if you're counting pennies, you're probably going to buy cheap, and cheap means you have to redo it quite often, replace quite often. Mm-hmm. It's our philosophy, and Chad Farnsworth, our superintendent, really has this philosophy that if we're going to do it, let's do it right the first time so that it's long lasting and first class. Mm-hmm. And so if we were to put a turf field in at any of our fields, it would be us putting in the best that we can get out there, and then also obviously buying the maintenance stuff that goes with that. Yeah. And even with that, you're looking at probably every 10 years having to replace that. So there's a cost factor to it. There's a lot of discussion and a lot of research you can find that talks about the advantages of turf field to grass in terms of your maintenance, and then there's a lot of data that will show it the other direction. I think the biggest athletic decision out there in terms of injury, what's the numbers look like in terms of turf injury compared to natural grass injury, and I think you can look at data and maybe support your thought process on both sides of that, but there's certainly something to consider there. But aesthetically, it's fantastic. A lot of different teams can participate on it without wearing your grass out, and that's one of the challenges we have here in Florida. Mm-hmm. Our fields take a beating because we have football, soccer, lacrosse, so many different things going, band, and so those fields are really, the downtime for them is very small. And so trying to get those fields to be first class all year long is a challenge. I think our county does a good job of trying to keep up with that. But at the same time, we do have a number of schools that are interested in looking at a turf field option, and it's something we certainly are talking about.
We got some great looking fields too. I mean, kudos to all of the field maintenance workers that get things going, because you're spending hours out there painting lines. I mean, a lot of schools now have the turf tank. That's a whole other thing that we could talk about, the turf tanks. But I think Leesburg High School had one. I saw it kind of driving around the other day. But it takes a lot of work that goes into it.
Painting the field's not a lot of fun. And I think anybody who's done it will tell you that it is, first of all, it's difficult to get lines straight, and it takes a lot of time. And once you get your first lines down, then your weekly painting becomes a little bit easier. But a lot of our schools have gone to the turf tank. There's a cost proposition there. Mm-hmm. And I think you're really looking at cost to time and trying to maximize the value of that, because all of our coaches are teachers. Mm-hmm. So, you're just talking about another layer of work. But I think our guys do a good job with it. Gary Rogers, who is over our maintenance, his staff does a great job, and Gary is are readily available for anybody who needs them on emergencies. Sometimes we'll have wells go out, and they're out there working on those. But those fields are really painted by coaching staffs.
And so that's one thing. A whole nother thing is the academics in our area, which have just taken off. You mentioned some of the things that are going on. I think we had a bunch of schools that were A schools this year. So even down at the middle school and the elementary school levels, Treadway Elementary ended up going from a C to an A school last year, which was fantastic. I love to see that. I also love to see at the high school level the Cambridge ACE program. So some news just came out the other day that Ben Nash sent this to me from Umatilla High School. They had 31 Cambridge ACE students graduate with their diploma. That is terrific, Coach.
It's fantastic. I tell you, the first thing is we're an A district in Lake County, and that's a huge accomplishment. That means that's a lot of administrators, teachers, and students pulling a hefty lift to get our schools at a level that we've attained that. And I think the marching orders from the superintendent is we want to maintain that. And Umatilla has been really strategic about their ACE Cambridge program. They, from the very beginning, did not want it to be an a la carte program. What I mean by that is a student has an opportunity to take one class here, one class there. They wanted to be intentional about trying to get those degrees. And what that degree does is it not only gives them college credit, but it gives them bright future dollars as well. So the financial benefit to that student and their family in terms of college is really phenomenal. And they've been, I think their program is maybe 4 years old, 5 years old. And so for the number of students that they have, 60% pass rate on those tests are really phenomenal. And when you start to really evaluate AP curriculum and pass rates to ACE Cambridge curriculum and pass rates, there's a strong argument that ACE Cambridge program has a big benefit.
$380,000, I believe it was, that they saved, maybe even more than that. But think about that. That goes a long way to these kids. That's life-changing in a lot of ways.
Well, life-changing. And, when you think about our county is so diverse in so many different ways. We have not only in our topology, but in our communities. And Umatilla is a community that is a blue-collar community. And when you start talking about those types of dollars, that is so impactful. But I'll tell you what, if you're sending your child to college today without some financial benefit, you're spending a lot of money and you're probably going in debt to do it. And so anytime we can get kids opportunities to have college opportunities at the high school level, what a benefit that is, not only for their own personal education, but also for a family's financial commitment to help their continued education.
Yeah, I got to give a huge shout out to Principal Frazier over there, and what he's done for that program the last couple of years has been just terrific. Not just them, but I mean from the athletic director, from Data Brunson, and it just trickles down, and you could just see everybody, Ben Nash, to just name a few. You could see how much they care about the program, and that's trickled down to other high schools as well. There's a lot of high schools that ended up looking at what they were doing. They were like, hey, we're going to go all in with this.
Well, I think that's very true. And I think what you'll find when you walk at Umatilla's campus is it's a student-centered campus. And I think if you will go in some of the other high schools in our county, you'll see the same student-centered approach. I think about what Julie Robinson has done out at East Ridge, what's going on now at Mineola, what's going on at Mount Dora.
Yeah.
We're Steve Benson's doing a great job at South Lake. All of our high school principals are really bought into let's be student-centered in what we're doing. Let's be sure we're carrying out the mission of our district, and I think we're seeing those results as we look at what our academic scores are, and we hope that athletics is just an enhancement to that. I think that people often think about wins and losses, but I think about more in terms of wins and losses. Championships are just a byproduct of a process.
Yeah.
Every coach on our campuses needs to use their power of influence to help move a school academically, and if we're not doing that, then we're not pulling our weight in this initiative of being student-centered.
We also have a couple of new schools this year as well. Of course, Fruitland Park Elementary opened their brand new campus, and then we got Beverly Shores that's undergoing renovations. They're using the old Fruitland Park, and then we got the new Mineola K-8 program down there. Talk a little bit about that.
Mineola Horizon, beautiful campus, beautiful area. That school's opening up. They're excited about welcoming those students there. Fruitland Park's opening up. Beverly Shores is moved over to the old Fruitland Park campus for a year while they refurbish that campus. The district is really, I tell you what, they're working hard to put our kids in first-class facilities, and for those teachers and students who have been displaced as they try to move those campuses, I think of the folks at Beverly Shores moving, it's not very far away, but it's still not their campus,
yeah.
but they've been fantastic about it. They've had a great opening, and they're going to have a beautiful campus to walk onto next school year. So we're really excited about the building initiatives in the county, and very thankful.
What can you share as far as what's coming in the county as well? Because I think Oak Park Middle and then Leesburg Elementary, they're going to kind of combine those at some point. That's what I've heard.
Well, there's that's a strategic plan that probably the superintendent needs to release at her time frame. But there are certainly active movements and active plans in place to impact the campuses at Oak Park and Leesburg Elementary. And I think she's done a phenomenal job of just strategically trying to grow our schools, and not only in their academics, but in their facilities. Chad Farnsworth's done a great job in leading that. Rob Feltner on the academic side of the house. I think we have a really great group of people who are working with each other and for each other to benefit kids.
Yeah.
And so, when it comes down to it, if you can't tie your work directly to how you benefit a student, then we got to rethink about where we are.
You bring up some great points there, Coach. We're going to take one final break, and we'll be back with Pat Todd when we return on the Sports Hub.
Drive home your new Lincoln during our summer invitation event. Enjoy 0% for 48 months and 2 years free maintenance on our large selection of 25 Corsair, Nautilus, and Aviator. Or take $5,000 off remaining 24 Nautilus. Stop in today to see the all-new 25 Navigator, completely redesigned with our most luxurious interior ever, featuring a 48-inch curved display and 24-way massaging seats. Plaza Lincoln in Leesburg, across from the airport. Our drive to be the best starts with you.
Hey, everybody, we are back here on the Sports Hub Podcast, talking with Pat Todd. Pat, I wanted to ask you a little bit about where you see the NIL stuff heading in the next couple of years, and sort of like it's changed a lot in the last 10 years, even as we go. But where do you see it in the next 5-10 years?
Well, on the college level, I think we're seeing it bottom out to where they've got it down to a system that they can at least maybe keep up with.
Yeah.
When they first came out with it, each college couldn't be involved in a collective. Now you can be involved in a collective, and now you have every college out there has an NIL office within their student recruitment. At the high school level, I think we'll go through some of the same matrix where right now there's NILs in which collectives cannot be involved in the school. So the school, and if you hear about it, we try to shore that up to make sure we're ahead of the game. In Lake County, we don't have a lot of meaningful NIL scenarios out there, but they're coming, and they will come. I think as state legislators change how they want to do business will affect how the FHSA manages it. That's really where it's going to come down to. Eventually, I see there being collectives that schools partner with, and they'll have to figure out a way to manage that. But that's a very, if it mirrors what colleges have done and everything else has to this point, that's where it will go next.
I've been interested about this too, because you've kind of had a split with some of the schools. You've had the FHSAA, and you also have the Sunshine State Athletic Association over there as well. So you got like two. You got Umatilla, I think, First Academy Leesburg, Mount Dora Christian Academy are with the the Sunshine State, and you got a couple of schools with the FHSAA. So you got kind of two conferences going on as well. How has that been?
Well, I think it has, they kind of have their own niche, if you will, and where their biggest niche has come is in football. So a lot of schools that find themselves, that are smaller, that find themselves in a really difficult place of competing have opted to look at that route. Umatilla has and has had success with it. Mount Dora Christian Academy has, First Academy has, and that's really where the SSA has got their footing. They offer opportunities in other sports, but they don't have a lot of participants in it. And so the schools that we just mentioned are all playing football there, but they're FHSA and all their other sports. I think we could see that grow. I think the challenge is going to be FHSA is wanting to deal with that differently probably. Yeah. And so how that harmony comes, as long as schools can be a part of both, I think you're going to see growth. If they can't be a part of both, then I think that growth will become a little slower. And I know for our public schools, it would be hard for us to transition all of our sports there because they don't offer all of them. Right. For private schools, where they may opt to do that if they don't offer as many sports as we do. So, but I'll tell you, it has given those three schools opportunities to compete at a pretty high level, where the districts that they were in before would have been very, very challenging, and in some regards might not even been safe.
We also have a couple of other sports this fall season. We just got things started last week, a couple of invitationals as well. East Ridge High School, they swept the boys and girls varsity cross country this past weekend. So that was really exciting.
It is. We have some really good cross country runners throughout our county and some really good programs, and East Ridge is certainly doing a great job with that. Swimming is getting started, and we've got some competitive swimmers, which we're excited about. We've got some really good bowlers. We have a young man at South Lake that's, I think, ranked 15th in the country. Y'all
really
did a piece on him. And so, and Lake County's been good in bowling. We've been well represented last year. East Ridge and Leesburg both getting to the state tournament and doing well. So we feel good about our sports. It's interesting. When I was a college coach at Florida College, I recruited Lake County really hard because it was overlooked. And we really benefited. We got a lot of players out of Lake County in all of our sports, because also the athletic director there that really were good contributors to our programs.
Yeah.
We produce good athletes in Lake County. We have good coaches, and we're really excited about our fall sports.
I see a ton of students as well getting recruited to Lake Sumter State College over in Leesburg as well. Jay Miller, of course, is now the athletic director over there, just became the athletic director. And that's been really great to see. It provides a platform for the athletes to continue their education career. And it's been a great part of our community, I think.
It really is. It's vital that Lake Sumter State be successful both academically and athletically for our community. And they've been great academically for a long time. Their programs are growing athletically. Mike Matulia obviously was the first AD there that kind of built that. What Richie's doing in baseball is fantastic. Volleyball program's been very competitive. Softball's been competitive. And now they're adding sports to that. And so we're excited about what they're doing, and they've been great partners with Lake County Schools.
Yeah, we are so excited about this season, and it's going to be a lot of fun. What's your most exciting thing that you expect out of this year?
Well, I think there's two things we always look for athletically is how do our coaches grow our kids athletically, individually, their skill sets, their ability to really compete at a high level. And then the other piece of that is how do they put their team together in such a way that they can really reach their peak as a ball club. And we've got some really exciting things. I think in football we've got 4 or 5 teams that have a chance to really be impactful come playoff time. Basketball's always been rich in Lake County, and we got some teams that I think have a chance to make a run. Baseball we've been very successful at. Softball with Eustis, but we have some other teams that are going to be competitive as well, we think, on a state level. In our sports that are team but individually driven, bowling, we think we got a chance for some state contenders. Cross country we feel good about. We've got some really outstanding track athletes, some outstanding swimming athletes. So we're really, we're wanting to be successful at the highest level athletically, but more importantly, we want to see these kids be able to walk off our campuses and really compete in their chosen field, whether that's vocational, whether that's collegiately, or whether that's into the workforce. We hope we're producing the type of student athlete that has the character and core value pieces that are going to make them valuable to our communities for years to come. Yeah,
you mentioned Eastridge again, Access a lot. Well, what a start for that kid so far this season. Veronica Peterson both finishing in first place at the FCA Invitational this weekend. It was great to see as well. Thank you, Coach, for providing that insight, man. I appreciate every time we have you on. It's a lot of fun. So,
well, appreciate you having me. Appreciate what you guys are doing for our Lake County students.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for today's broadcast. I want to thank UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics along with Plaza Lincoln and Plaza Cadillac. I'm your host, Kyle Coppola. We'll see you on the next edition of the Sports Hub next week.
This has been the Style Sports Hub, presented by UF Health Medical Group Orthopaedics.